Hello, everyone. My name is Ariel Vega, and I am a professional wrestling fan. And I've been watching professional wrestling since WrestleMania 17. That was when I was first exposed to professional wrestling. And um, since WrestleMania 17, which was around 2001, I've always been a WWE fan. But I've also been expanding my horizons, checking out other companies like TNA, AEW, New Japan, Ring of Honor, and now AAA, along with NXT. And a lot of the half of the companies I watch are WWE owned. I am overall, admittingly, a WWE fan, but I enjoy wrestling from many different organizations. I see a lot of positive and negatives across all the organizations. And while I respect and appreciate all these companies existing, giving us professional wrestling as professional wrestling fans, um, I love and try to criticize all the companies that I enjoy equally. And one of the things that I've noticed that we found out in news that came out, I believe, yesterday, I found a report that really concerns me a little bit. And we're going to go ahead and talk about that right now. There's a lot that I love about AEW. I believe that AEW bell to bell puts on some of the absolute best matches. I feel like they do a lot of very good performances from a lot of those wrestlers. But one of the biggest critiques that I think that I personally hold with AEW is their storyline writing. They do have some storylines, yes. I just don't feel they have anything as engaging that totally grasps my attention and my interest as an AEW fan. I feel like the last time I was truly enjoying any story at all, uh, I think back to the days of when Kenny Omega was the belt collector. And I think back to the amazing year we had when MJF was the world heavyweight champion. And then I also keep thinking about the swerve and the rise of the first ever black professional world heavyweight champion in AEW. And I look at all the narratives that were going on back then that engaged me because of what I saw. I enjoyed what I was watching in the content. But ever since I feel that Swerve lost the title to Daniel Bryan, and this is just my opinion with the product, I feel like the story between the moment Daniel Bryan beat Swerve for the championship all the way until Hangman took it off of Moxley in what I personally feel was the best professional wrestling pay per view of the entire year in AEW All In. That's my opinion. I know some people might feel different, but that's my opinion. Um, I feel like between those two events, I have not enjoyed anything dealing with the World Championship of AEW. WWE has been doing a lot with their world title scene. I feel like we're gone also from the heydays of how great it was when Roman Reigns was a champion with the tribal chief. And we got Cody Rhodes winning the title, which was good. But then I feel like John Cena coming in, winning the championship so he could just give his final world title run, as a heel. I feel like things for the world title honestly derailed from the moment John Cena took it off of Cody. And now they put it back on Cody. And I don't feel that world title now is really doing so hot. But those are, again, just my off the cuff opinions about both products, about what I enjoy. And let me make sure I'm turning on. I don't know what just happened there. Okay, I hope I didn't just. I'll edit that out. But right now in this article, the Sportster, um, written by Sean Van Horn, says that there's a new system that shockingly exposes wrestling's decline. And as a wrestling fan, I feel like they basically had like a regular rating system where I believe it was panel only, and then they created basically a more accurate rating system with big data and panel information. And I believe what both of these analytics do is that they actually count how many people are actually watching the product either through I don't know how it somehow analyzes through the TV set that they get all this information from. But apparently, as we keep reading, if you were on Numbers Nerd, you were looking for the Nielsen ratings in the day after a WWE and AEW show. It can be very interesting to see what clicks with the fans. And, you know, a lot of us we're wrestling fans. We're so big on throwing ratings at each other. Oh, they scored I don't even know, a 2 point something in the 18 demographics or whatever the heck. We're always every single week warring over the ratings. And around, there was a time, it's mentioning in this article about the Bloodline storyline, and what improved recently with Tony Khan's writing for the AEW company. So they're just mentioning in the start of this the big storylines that were literally carrying the company. And then if we look on with Raw on Netflix, it's much harder to follow analytics on that. So they basically only take analytics of people watching shows straight from TV, which for some people that doesn't matter anymore, because if you think about it, AEW and Monday Night Raw, for example, are two big that's like 3 wrestling shows between Dynamite, Collision, and Monday Night Raw, all being streamed through apps. And we can't really see the numbers of the streaming apps to really accurately know where we're watching these these shows. But however, as we come here to the 3 bottom bullet points, because some shows are being watched on TV, Dynamite and Collision, while it is an app provided television show, it still has a TV presence, and SmackDown also has a TV presence. And they say right now that based on certain data from Big Data and Panel, which was created to read viewership a lot more accurately than what we have in the past. And unfortunately, we're finding out that the ratings for AEW and WWE are down with the new rating system. What's very interesting is on this little comment here, panel only data has been based generally on a representative sample of households and whose viewing is actually being metered. The national audience was then extrapolated based on that sample. But if we keep coming down here where it's talking about how both shows are taking a huge hit, it says right here that WWE NXT has lost 100,000 viewers under the new rating system. Then AEW's Dynamite had a record low viewership. That means that whatever their lowest viewership was, they topped that. So they got worse. And it was expected that the change would show higher ratings. So they actually changed the rating system to better display that these they expected higher numbers. They expected their bar was set to, oh dude, with this new rating system, those ratings are gonna blow up and they're gonna all be high and everybody's gonna be into wrestling. And apparently less people are watching professional wrestling all over the place. Apparently it seems like it's also it's happening on NXT, it's happening on TNA as well. Yeah, it says right here, ratings for the September 30th episode of NXT showed that only 572,000 people watched, and the latest chapter involving the TNA's invasion of the developmental brand. That's down exactly from 100,000 from the average of 672,000 viewers who watched NXT in the last quarter. So these views for NXT are dropping, and it was even worse for AEW Dynamite. So AEW Dynamite, it's almost like every single company is doing awful, but AEW is doing worse than awful. They're just even worse. And they're hovering around 600,000 viewers or more most weeks. But on October 1st, despite AEW putting on a huge 6th anniversary show, only 465,000 people tuned in. That is over 200,000 people from week to week, literally. I mean, no, on their best shows, literally, compared to their best shows of the year, that's over 200,000 viewer loss for AEW Dynamite. And, well, I just want to address this because I think as wrestling fans, we're so busy comparing over who's doing worse and who's doing better. And it seems like all of us are doing bad. It seems like wrestling is just not hitting like it used to be, no matter where you're watching it. And that's a little frustrating for me as a fan because I love the sport and I really enjoy it. But I have to admit, I'm getting to a point where I'd rather improve something in my life. I'll take a college course over watching a professional wrestling show right now. And I don't know, man. Work overtime at my job, pay my bills more. I don't know. I don't know what to say. I feel with professional wrestling, like I'm more I'm okay with just catching highlights on YouTube, man. And then once I catch those highlights on YouTube, that's kind of it for me, man. I don't really need to watch the whole show. The USA Network and Discovery react to the changes. Blames. Oh, yeah. Well, of course, Warner Brothers Discovery blames AEW's bad ratings on the Major League Baseball postseason. A USA Network wondered if wrestling is no longer as hot as it was. Sometimes I wonder what USA Network is wondering. Wrestling fans seem now prefer watching wrestling in small doses on YouTube and social media. That's literally me. Like, I'm going to be very honest. That's literally me. That's where I feel I am with wrestling. Like, I don't need to watch a 2-hour Raw or a 2-hour SmackDown. All I need to do is just throw some highlights, bro. Give me some highlights. Give me a 15-minute highlight video or something telling me of everything that happened in the show, and I'm good. I literally will skip watching Raw, skip watching Dynamite, skip watching Collision, skip watching SmackDown, and I'll catch all the pay-per-views, but I won't really watch the televised shows. I'll just go ahead and look up highlights on YouTube, and then once I'm done with that, okay, well, I guess I'm gonna, just do my homework or play a game. I don't know. I don't know what to say. So do some chores around the house or something. Like, I don't know, projects around the house, get some projects done. But anyways, this is all just to say that I really hope that the creative, honestly, when I feel like it all comes down to creative, I'm tired of finding things here and there. No matter what company I watch, I'm tired of finding things here and there that it interests me. I want to be fully invested in the 2 hours that I'm watching, and I just feel like, honestly, I can't say that about either company. I'm a WWE fan first and foremost. I have no problem admitting that I'm literally WWE number one in wrestling company. I'm a fan of them. But I have to admit, I feel like Triple H did better with his writing back when he was writing in NXT Black and Gold. Like the Black and Gold era of NXT, I feel like that was his best. And I feel like ever since he's came to the main roster, I'm not going to say he's been doing terrible where I never want to watch his shows or that I don't enjoy anything that he's doing. But I have to admit, man, I think back to those NXT days and we don't have that. And we're already on what, year 2? Maybe 3 at this point with Triple H writing. I mean, I just feel like we kind of, I personally will admit, I kind of gave him way more credit on the creative side than what I expected he was going to produce, and we're just not there. And then Tony Khan, I don't know what happened to him. I swear Tony Khan was murdering it every week with all kinds of writing, basically doing more good than wrong. And I feel like this guy, ever since Triple H took over, it's like he's been stumbling around now, and I'm not hating everything he's doing. Tony Storm, has had put on some of the greatest women's matches out there. I'm not enjoying Mercedes Moné for nothing right now. I kind of think her title reign is. I think she's the most. She's literally the most overhyped thing in the world right now. I'm mind blown. I was a huge Sasha Banks fan, and I felt for her every single time she lost in WWE. I always felt like every time she lost in WWE, it was undeserved, and I was like, dude, what the heck are you guys doing? Treat Sasha Banks better. And I have a guy now. Here we are, in 2025, where Tony Khan's doing exactly that, treating her better. And I feel like the product has suffered more because we've treated her this well. And we're giving her all the wins in the world and giving her all the W's in the world. And every title match she's in, it's the most predictable thing. I don't even watch her title matches anymore because I already know she's going to win. So it's like she's going to beat whoever she's wrestling. The only shock you can give me at this point is if she actually loses. But if that bell rings and Mercedes is in the match, I'm expecting her to win. So I don't know how to feel about all of that. But yeah, wrestling's not. I'm a little sad, man. I want to enjoy wrestling because I remember when I was first introduced to it, a friend of mine just told me to go to UPN and watch SmackDown. And I remember the very first wrestler I recognized was Kurt Angle. And I want to say I was watching the SmackDown maybe a week or two before WrestleMania 17 because I was trying to understand what wrestling was. And I was watching, I didn't know anything about Raw. I only knew SmackDown. And that was because my friend made me watch it. And then I just up and decided, hey, I want to watch WrestleMania 17. We bought the pay-per-view. We got the pay-per-view. And I remember everything I saw there blew my mind because I couldn't believe the match that made me say I'm going to be watching wrestling for the rest of my life was the Triple Threat TLC match. And I believe it had Edge and Christian, the Dudley Boys, and the Hardys. And it was at WrestleMania 17. And I'll never forget, I want to say it was where they all had like a third member that was jumping in these I think they had Spike Dudley, Lita, and Rhino. And they were all interfering in the match and doing crazy stunts. And the Hardy Boys to me were like I loved them. I was like, dude, they were flying around doing crazy crap. Jeff Hardy to me was nuts. The Dudleys, I remember asking myself, why do they love tables so much? Like I didn't know. And Edge and Christian, I didn't really care much about Edge and Christian. I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't really care about them. To me, I just saw two white guys with really long hair. So it was like, all right, Beavis and Butthead wannabes, I guess. I don't know. But I understand that they're like one of literally the greatest tag teams to ever do tag team wrestling. But fast forward to 2025, and that's not there anymore. The magic's not there. And it sucks. Anyways, so that's my reaction to that. I just wanted to make a video on it because I couldn't believe what I was saying. But I don't know. Let me know what you think. What were your thoughts about everything that happened? Did you guys think that they'll bounce back from this? Do you think that this is just wrestling now where everything's just gonna be, the ratings just aren't gonna be there and we're just gonna enjoy the scraps of whatever they give us? Are you gonna move on from wrestling? I don't think I'm ready to move on from wrestling, but I have to admit, I'm not that on fire about it, and I'm getting to a point, honestly. And then wrestling is getting really expensive too. Like man, AEW does not want to give you a discount for a single pay-per-view in this lifetime, brother, and they will make you pay $50 every single chance you get. The new subscription deal is so bad for HBO Max that it's literally better to watch AEW literally anywhere else but its home platform. And then WWE, I can sit there and tout that they're kind of the more affordable brand out of all the wrestling brands. But well, except Ring of Honor. Ring of Honor is $10 a month, but come on, Ring of Honor don't even got they're on an app service, bro. They don't get views like that. So I kind of want to say that Ring of Honor is legitimately the biggest money saver in professional wrestling, but it's that case for a reason. Nobody's really watching Ring of Honor unless you're on the app. And then I go ahead and I look at TNA, and TNA's good. It's gotten better over the years, recently speaking. This partnership with WWE though, I mean, I don't know, man. Is it really? I don't know how to feel about that. Like I don't know how to feel about the excitement of that. You know what I mean? I almost feel like all this partnership did was just give WWE access to those former WWE stars that are now on NXT. I mean TNA, and and they got Joe Hendry and Jordan Grace. But all these TNA guys, what they're doing is they're like, oh well, this is my chance to jump ship, so they're taking advantage. But I mean, this is the most interesting TNA has been recently speaking. Like, I haven't cared much about NXT. I've cared more about NXT because they're interacting with WWE than before they were. So I guess that works, but their ratings aren't exactly reflecting that it's the coolest thing in the world, according to the article. So whatever. I don't know. And then AEW, I truly don't hate AEW. I love MJF. I love Kenny Omega. I'm a Young Bucks fan. I love FTR. I feel like FTR for like a full year, they were putting on some of the greatest tag team matches in any company they wrestled in. No matter where they went, they were putting on like some of the craziest bangers out there. I just wish wrestling would really come back to being great. Anyways, that's it. That's my off the cuff thoughts of the article. And I don't know what you guys may think about it, but let me know what you feel in the comments. Until then, God bless you guys. Take care of yourselves, and maybe I'll see you in the future for some more wrestling content. Bye-bye.